are all Aussie animals trying to kill you? So I'm Australian, and let me actually show you some of the really cool animals that I've come across. And some of them aren't as dangerous as you think.
So Australia is actually an island, a country and a continent all in one, but we sit alone, and we've been alone for over 1 million years. And it's no mistake that it holds some of the most unique animals in the world. So lucky for me, I actually call Australian home. Let me show you some of the different Aussie animals that I've come across. So first up, I have to start with the kangaroo. Being the most iconic Aussie animal, the kangaroo is a marsupial, meaning that the mum carries the baby in a pouch in the front. Can you spot any in this picture? Well, they're actually pretty good at camouflaging. Being more of a dusk and dawn animal, they tend to lay about and graze about the grasses during the day because they're herbivores. So that's vegan for like Gen Z talk. Kangaroos can actually be extremely vicious when threatened, and they use their strong tail to bounce, lean back and kick. Kangaroos are also known to scratch, strangle and even drown those that they've picked a fight with. There's many different types of kangaroos, and the largest one are known as the red kangaroos, but us Aussies, we call them boxing kangaroos because they've got quite a lot of attitude. But are kangaroos actually that unique? Because Australia has a lot of different type of animals that are extremely similar. So next up, we've got wallabies. Wallabies are a relation of the kangaroo, but they're noticeably smaller. So just like the kangaroo, they're also marsupials and herbivores. They also live about in grassy areas, but they can also be found on nearby islands, in forests and also rocky outcrops. So shrinking even smaller, we have the quokka. They also belong to macropod family, which is the same one that includes the kangaroo and the wallabies. So they're known as the happiest animal on earth. The majority of quokkas actually live on Rottnest Island, which is just off the coast of Perth, Western Australia. So the quokkas actually had about 800 years to live on the island all by themselves after the Aboriginals decided to leave the island when the sea rose. So they actually became the boss of the island, and there was no other animals that wanted to eat them for lunch. The quokka is also a herbivore and is usually only seen during dusk and at nighttime because they're actually nocturnal. The quokkas of Rottnest are used to hundreds of tourists that visit every day, and they're even up for a selfie. With their upturned mouths and curious nature, it's advised to lay down on the ground with your arm and camera stretched out, and they'll just join in for a hashtag quokka selfie. Many celebrities even get in on this, including people like Margot Robbie, and you might have even seen recently Logan Paul. But did you know there's another member of that family that's even smaller? So next up we have woylies. So yet another marsupial, another herbivore that hops on 2 legs, but these ones are tiny. These animals are nocturnal, which is why we have a red torch. Unfortunately, due to habitat loss, these cuties are nearly extinct, but with the help of conservation and rehabilitation, things are starting to improve. I actually visited these woylies inside a predator-proof sanctuary that's here in Whiteman Park on a night tour. So up next we have quendas, a similar size to woylies, but these ones are actually bandicoots. They're also marsupial, but these guys are also omnivores. So it usually means that they'll also eat insects as well as vegetation for dinner. Their pouch actually sits backwards, and it's because they don't hop on their feet, they actually run along on all fours. But due to habitat loss, quite often you'll end up coming across them living in parks. So there's even some that actually live at the park down the road from my house. So another Aussie animal is the emu. So it's a freakishly large flightless bird that belongs to the same family as ostriches and the cassowaries. Oh, if you haven't heard of a cassowary, well, that's a prehistoric dinosaur that's still around today, but luckily none of them live near me. So let's get back to emus. Another herbivore, that's a bird that can actually run up to 30 miles an hour, which is actually pretty quick. The interesting thing about emus is that the female will be the one that lays the egg, but the male is the one that incubates and cares for the young. If you've ever wondered what feathers I actually have on my hat, it's actually that of an emu. They're actually really long, thin, and flexible.
So my biggest sponsors here on YouTube is actually you guys. So the best way you can support me is actually give me a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and let me know what other Aussie animals you'd like me to show you as well.
And a little bit of a fun fact about Australia is the kangaroo and the emu are the Australian animals that we have on the Commonwealth coat of arms, as it symbolises the nation moving forward, as neither animal can actually walk backwards. So there's no mistake that Australia was once home to dinosaurs, but did you know we actually still have some around today? So not only the cassowaries, but we also have crocodiles. We have 2 types of crocs. We have saltwater and freshwater. The salties are the largest living reptile in the world, and they're mainly found in coastal areas of far north Queensland, the Northern Territory and northern parts of Western Australia. They're known to be extremely dangerous, so steer clear. So the adult males can grow roughly about 7 metres or 23 feet, while the females will grow roughly about 4 metres, which is 13 feet. But there's been many crocs that have been found to exceed that. Freshwater crocs, or freshies, also live up in the northern parts of Australia, but they're usually found more inland in freshwater rivers and billabongs. Usually they're a lot less aggressive towards humans and typically grow about 3 metres in length or 10 feet. Males are usually slightly bigger. Now, an apex predator of the wild, obviously they're carnivores. Salties will tackle large prey like fish, birds, mammals, even reptiles. They're known to eat cattle, buffalo, roos, you name it. Crocs can actually go weeks without food and they can wait patiently for their prey. So don't climb a tree to escape them as they can wait you out. But crocs are also a little bit on the lazy side and generally they will wait for the food to come right in front of them before they'll snap. Freshies tend to eat smaller things like fish, crustaceans, amphipods, small animals, those type of things, but they're also ambush predators, and just like salties, they can also sit very still for many hours before launching rapidly and attacking. Crocs are really well known for killing their animals what we call a barrel roll, and so what they will do is they will bear hug their prey, they will barrel roll underneath the water to drown their prey. But the interesting thing is crocodiles can't actually eat underwater, so they need to surface again to chew and swallow. So sticking to water animals, something a little different, we have the snub-nosed dolphin. So they've got a pretty distinctive appearance. They have a round forehead and a lack of typical dolphin beak, which is why these ones have been snubbed, the snub-nosed dolphin. They're actually found solely in Roebuck Bay, which is part of Broome, and it actually fascinated the likes of even Sir David Attenborough, who flew all the way to Australia to film an episode on them. So like other dolphins, they like to splash about like acrobats, but it's their appearance alone that makes them unique. Is it a duck or is it a beaver? Nope, it's actually a platypus. So this cute Aussie animal is a semi-aquatic animal who spends most of their life in water. They have a duck-shaped bill and webbed feet and also a broad, flat, beaver-like tail. Surprisingly, even though the platypus lays eggs, they're classified as mammals because they're covered in fur and they feed their young with milk. They may be extremely cute, but they're actually extremely venomous. The males have a spur on their hind legs and it can deliver a painful toxin. It's not lethal to humans, but it causes nausea, swelling, and excruciating whole body pain that can last for weeks, and it can't be alleviated with morphine. Also, there's no anti-venom either. So after all that, I think we need a good giggle. And, well, kookaburras sure know how to do that. A large terrestrial kingfisher, well known for their laughing call, they are one of the most extremely recognisable Australian birds when you're out in the bush. They're a carnivorous bird who feeds on small insects, mammals, reptiles, and even other birds. So while we're on birds, we can't forget the Willy Wagtail. So these birds are extremely tiny, but they're easily recognisable by their dancing behaviour by shaking their tail feathers back and forth. Willy Wagtails feed on small insects by foraging along the ground, and despite their size, they're actually known to be bullies. They're fearlessly defending their territory, and they're often seen attacking crows and magpies.
Yeah.
Another Aussie animal is the magpie. So known for their song calls, the magpie is quite intelligent. They're also omnivores, so they eat a mix of small mammals, insects, scraps, and even fruit. Magpies are extremely territorial, and due to their behaviour, springtime in Australia is often known as swooping season. A video recently went viral of Sarah Jade, an Australian influencer, who was pecked in the eye by a magpie. Magpies can become vicious when they feel that their tree is being threatened, and they will often attack pedestrians and cyclists by flying fast at the back of your head and hitting you in the back of the head with the beak. Or they'll quickly swoop around and aim at the eye. So if you thought that magpies were vicious, wait till you see the Tasmanian Devils, a carnivorous marsupial that, from what you guessed it, is from Tasmania, is actually Australia's largest surviving carnivorous marsupial. It's known to be stocky black with a distinctive white marking along their chest. They have strong jaw and sharp teeth and are also nocturnal. So generally a solitary animal, they're also known to congregate around a carcass. Have a look at these ones attacking this roadkill. Unfortunately, at one stage, they actually became nearly extinct due to devil facial tumour disease, which is a contagious cancer, but with conservation efforts, and their numbers have increased dramatically.
All fat.
Another animal that I actually saw for the first time in the wild when I visited Tasmania is the wombat. I like to call them wobblefats. They're incredibly cute, and they're kind of like a teddy bear appearance. They're short, stocky, furry, and with a little cute button nose. They're also a marsupial with a backwards facing pouch because they walk on all fours. They're generally nocturnal and they spend most of their days in the burrows. At night, they're out grazing on the grasses and vegetation. An interesting thing about wombats is their poo is cubed shaped. So yep, they have square shaped poo. There's definitely plenty of other animals that I haven't gone over, like this cute little bobtail here, but I'll leave that one for another day.
Now there's definitely plenty of other Aussie animals that give me the heebie-jeebies, like snakes and spiders. If there's any other Aussie animals you want me to focus on, let me know, because yes, Australia has some pretty cute and cuddly animals, but we definitely have some strange ones as well. And Australian history around animals is pretty interesting. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.